Coming up on the Q30 Newscast, campus safety is being questioned after an incident during the first week of classes.
Get an update on the sophomore housing issues from the end of last year, as well as info on student engagement events that happened over the past few days.
Also see students' thoughts on the new South Quad and the new buildings.
All that and more coming up on the Q30 Newscast.
Welcome into Studio 125 for the first edition of the Q30 Newscast for the 2025-2026 school year. I'm Eli Ehlers.
And I'm Zach Naffa.
We start tonight's show off with an update on the safety here on campus.
Q30's Christina Jimenez has more on student concerns at the start of the semester.
Someone who is not a Quinnipiac student entered academic buildings on campus and disrupted classes by filming TikTok dance videos last week. He also entered classrooms on other Connecticut school campuses, such as Sacred Heart University and University of Connecticut. Concern flowed in from both students and parents, the main one being, where was the school's public safety during this time? In an exclusive interview with Q30 News, Chief of Public Safety, Antonio Reyes, shared what students should do in a similar situation.
I would implement the see something, say something type of mindset. If something doesn't feel right to you, if you see someone on campus that's being disruptive, if you see someone on campus that you don't believe should be here or is up to no good, give a call to public safety right away.
Shannon Alden, a student who witnessed the incident firsthand, explained her mixed feelings about the event.
Well, when he came to my class, I honestly thought it was really funny. I was laughing because he was just dancing. But it is a little bit nerve-wracking that anyone can just come onto campus. I feel like they should maybe be checking people's cue cards or something else.
Generally, academic spaces are open to the public. However, some spaces and buildings are limited to just students, faculty, and staff. It is part of public safety policy for visitors to be identified upon arriving at campus. Chief Reyes explained what he plans to do to keep campus safety a priority.
There's actually some trainings that are lined up to sort of help build capacity around, again, actions that people should take. So, I think it's always an opportunity. Anytime anything happens, look at it as a way for us to strengthen our policies, our protocols, and our training to make sure that we're being as safe as we possibly can.
Public safety conducted a full investigation after the incident. They successfully identified the individuals involved and discovered how they got on campus. Reporting from the Mount Carmel campus for Q30 News, I'm Christina Jimenez.
SGA has held multiple election info sessions. If you are interested in running for SGA, make sure to attend the last session on Thursday, September 4th from 12:30 to 1:45 in SC 120. For more information, contact Alyssa DeWitt.
Yesterday, in the Carl Hansen Student Center, the Student Employment Office held an info session to help students find jobs on campus. The event was held in SC 206, and the types of positions include federal and non-federal work-study jobs, as well as graduate assistant roles. Those eligible for federal work-study will see an award listed in their financial aid packages. To view open positions for all roles, head to careers.qu.edu. In last school year, rising sophomore students had housing selection delayed due to overadmittance and had to adjust to different living situations.
Evangeline Crossley has an update on the ongoing situation.
In an email last April, the Office of Housing informed rising sophomores that the Village Suites would now consist of 2 doubles and 1 triple. Now the time has come for students to experience living in a Village triple, an experience they say they're learning to adapt to.
It's not so bad because we all didn't bring a lot of stuff because we were expecting, we're not allowed to have a bigger space than we would have thought that we were going to have.
My roommates are my friends from last year, so it's all right, but it definitely feels a little tight in there because it's a bunk bed and then the other lofted bed.
We all have such different schedules that someone always has time to themselves.
Those students have run into some issues navigating the new layout.
1 shower for 7 people, and we're guys, so it's not as bad, but it still is bad because I have a lot of hair, so it takes a little while.
Chief Experience Officer Tom Ellett says that he's sorry for any discomfort, but the dorms were always meant to host 7 students. That just changed with the COVID-19 pandemic. Ellett said he also thinks this experience could serve as a learning opportunity for students.
Flexibility is a part of being a young person, and it will help you in the longer term of your life, having to deal with challenging situations.
Over the summer, the Office of Housing sent out emails to sophomores living in the Triples, inviting them to apply for reassignment to Mountain View. Ellett said only 62 of the 109 people in Triples took advantage of that.
We were actually shocked so few. 100% of the people in Triples didn't accept to move to a place where they could add a whole suite with the people they wanted.
Ellett says any students who have issues with their housing situation for this year are more than welcome to have a meeting with him. Ellett also tells me it's unknown as of now if Village will continue to be 7-person suites in the future. That decision won't come down until November or December. Reporting from the Village for Q30 News, Evangeline Crossley.
Earlier today, there was an opportunity for first-year students to learn the ins and outs of college at College 101, where they learned some essential skills to succeed while away from home. The session was taught by Quinnipiac academic coaches, and one of the topics discussed was SMART goals.
The hours for On the Rocks Pub and Grill were revealed earlier this week. The student-run restaurant and bar located on the York Hill campus will be open every Wednesday and Thursday from 6 p.m. till 10 p.m. Students are able to pay with their meal plan or QCash, and students 21 and over can purchase alcohol with a valid ID.
Now, Zach, I don't know about you, but the fall season has finally started, and it's my favorite kind of weather.
Yeah, it's finally starting to cool off here in Hamden, Eli, and it may still be summer, but it is really getting closer to autumn here in Connecticut, and Harrison Brown is here with us to preview the weather over the next 3 days.
Thanks, Eli and Zach. It looks like the fall weather is finally upon us today with a high of 76 and a low of 55. Partly cloudy. Thursday looks very similar with a high of 76 and a low of 52. Same, partly cloudy. Friday heats up just slightly, partly cloudy with a high of 77 and a low of 54. That's all I have for the 3-day forecast. Make sure to stay around for the full 7-day forecast and the map of Connecticut. For now, the Q30 Newscast has to take a break.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. So if you want to talk to your kids, you have to get it trending.
No, you're doing it wrong.
Let's go.
Can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
Have you ever helped a fellow veteran?
Yes. I do my best reaching out to my brothers and sisters in arms.
Have you ever asked for help yourself?
Most of us, we're not gonna admit that we need to help.
You don't have someone to kind of help you guide those thoughts. It can be really bad.
It's just a beautiful space when someone can trust you and say, listen, I need help.
Everyone has a ritual. That small thing we do to keep us focused.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game?
To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health.
Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health.
Find the resources you need to keep your mental health a priority.
Love your mind.
Welcome back to the Q30 Newscast. Zach, what are your thoughts on the New South Quad?
Yeah, I think it's pretty nice, Eli, but my good friend Andrew Allison has all the students' reactions to the newest part of campus.
Now that it's the fall semester, students now have access to the new South Quad buildings, the site, and the new School of Business.
This past spring, Quinnipiac held the ribbon-cutting ceremony for the South Quad and its 2 new buildings. While the South Quad itself has been open to students, the new School of Business and the site weren't available until the first week of classes. Students have had around 2 weeks to use the buildings, and they gave some positive first impressions.
I really have no complaints. I think everything is so new and nice as compared to everything else on campus. It's like a breath of fresh air.
Many students emphasize the niceness of the buildings in comparison to other Quinnipiac academic buildings.
So, not knowing anything different, but I can compare everything to the old buildings. And it's obviously beautiful. The interiors are a total upgrade from anything else on campus.
It was also noted how these buildings reflect well on the university as a whole.
I also think it really does add to making it feel like a real school, because I feel like before, because of how I would say outdated things felt, this seems like a step in the right direction to give us a more competitive look from the outside in. For example, when I showed my parents the new buildings, it gave them an ease of mind that I was actually going to such a prestigious school.
Some people were drawn to the South Quad simply because it's new.
I'm more
I'm tended more to hang out and go towards these spaces because they're newer. So like even when I have downtime, instead of going to a study room in the library or CCE, I'll come here.
The South Quad was also described as a space where students could just relax.
I like it a lot. I think it's a really nice addition to campus. Like, I feel like it gets a little bit too crowded on the North Quad, especially with, in my opinion, the over-admittance of people. So it's just like, gets crowded, but here it's like nice and quiet. It's really secluded. It's a nice place to just chill and just kind of relax.
Students' opinions on these new buildings seems to be overall positive. Reporting from the South Quad for Q30 News, I'm Andrew Allison.
Yesterday evening, the Black Student Union held a welcome event for new members to learn about their executive board with a fun Guess Who style game. The event had snacks for students and gave them an opportunity to connect with other students with a friend-finding bingo game.
On Thursday, September 4th, Associate Professor Tuvana Rua is hosting the M&T Bank Center for Women and Business panel discussion. The event will feature 4 female leaders and how they've excelled in non-traditional and male-dominated industries. The event will be held in M&H 101 on the North Haven campus. For more information or to register for the event, head to the announcements page on MyQ. On Tuesday, the Office of Student Engagement held an event for first-year students in the Piazza called What's in Your Backpack. The event aimed to help new college students learn about items that are essential to campus life and featured a guessing game to see what others had on them in their bags. They also gave away prizes and handouts with helpful information.
Who doesn't love pizza and getting to know other students on campus? Yesterday during the new Common Hour, 8 students had the chance to sit down with Craig S. Lennon, the Associate Dean of Student Affairs, and eat some pizza in the Perloff boardroom while getting to know 7 other Quinnipiac students.
The President of the United States was back in the Oval Office answering questions earlier today, but we here at Q30 have our President right here in studio.
Miranda Patorti has all the political news for us.
Thanks, Zach and Eli. It was a busy summer for U.S. politics, and this week has been no different, from the Trump administration to new details for upcoming state elections. On Sunday, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem confirmed that Immigration and Customs Enforcement, better known as ICE operations, will be expanding in major cities. This includes the city of Chicago, and while there were already operations there and across Illinois, Noem says that they intend to add additional resources to those ongoing. These comments come just one day after the mayor of Chicago, Brandon Johnson, signed an executive order that would have Chicago's legal department investigate ways to counteract an increase in federal law enforcement throughout Illinois. Other cities that could see an increase in ICE agents based on recent comments are Baltimore, Boston, San Francisco, and New York City. Moving to the Health and Human Services Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s leadership came under fire on Monday. 9 former directors for the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, with tenures dating back to the late 1970s, wrote a guest essay for the New York Times under the headline, "We ran the CDC, Kennedy is endangering every American's health." The article comes just days after President Donald Trump fired the current CDC director, Susan Minares. The essay included many concerns for the Americans surrounding vaccines and unproven treatments. They ended the essay by saying, quote, "They deserve a HHS secretary who stands up for health, sports science, and has their back. So too does our country," end quote. Moving to the state level, Virginia and New Jersey are the only 2 states that have gubernatorial elections this year. The 2 state elections that are just 2 months away will set the tone leading into the midterm elections in 2026. 2018 was a big set of midterms for the Democratic Party following Trump's first presidential victory, and that was started by Democratic victories in both of these states in 2017. It will also be a test for the Republican Party to see if they can continue the gains that Trump made last year, improving his margins from 2020 in every state. That's all I have in political news this week. Back to you, Zach and Eli.
It's now time to take our second break of the night. But when we come back, Harrison will have your full weather forecast.
And we'll take a look at the national news. Plus, we take a dive into sugary drinks and the side effects that come with them.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Guys! We had to make a commercial for #that right now. What do we do?
How long do we have? We only had 2 months to do this.
We could explain that it's a pop culture news show that covers everything from movies, music, and video games.
Yeah, and we can also talk about how there's pre-recorded segments that vary from reviews to in-depth discussions.
We should also mention that it broadcasts live every Monday at 7 p.m. on Q30TV.com/watch.
I think that covers everything. Did you guys get that down?
Welcome back to the Q30 Newscast. If you're just joining us, I'm Eli Ehlers, and the man to my right is Zach Naffa. Harrison Brown is back in studio to give us the full 7-day weather forecast.
And he's going to take a look around at the state of Connecticut. Harrison, what do you have for us?
I have some nice end of summer weather for you both. Skipping ahead to this weekend, grab your umbrellas. There's going to be a chance of rain this Saturday with a high of 82 and a low of 66. Sunday is going to dip down back to 75. With a high of 75 and a low of 52. Monday is going to be completely sunny with a high of 74 and a low of 49. And Tuesday, is going to be partly cloudy with a high of 74 and a low of 52. Moving to the map of Connecticut, all the cities are going to be in the high 70s with the exception of New London, which is going to be a high of 74 with a low of 64. All cities are going to have sun for at least a little bit tomorrow, with the exception of Torrington, Hartford, New Haven, and Stamford, which are going to be partly cloudy tomorrow. That's all I have for your weather this week. Now back to Eli and Zach on desk.
Thanks, Harrison. A review published on August 21st in Nutrition and Health suggests that what you eat can affect hair growth, strength, and even hair loss. The research indicates that sugary drinks and alcoholic beverages can contribute to hair loss.
While cutting these beverages out of your diet can help prevent hair loss, other solutions include consuming the correct amount of nutrients such as iron, zinc, vitamin D, and biotin. Most people can reach the target amount with a healthy, balanced diet, but supplements are helpful, especially for those with dietary restrictions and deficiencies. If hair loss continues, experts say to contact your health provider and look for treatment.
While campus is just starting to get busy for the first time since May, the national news has kept up all summer.
From natural disasters to the latest in Congress, Melissa Sheehan is here to dive deeper.
Good evening, I'm Melissa Sheehan. It is now time for today's national news updates. Starting on a somber note, authorities in Minneapolis are investigating a deadly shooting at a Catholic church that left 2 children dead and more than a dozen others injured. The attack happened during a school mass when 23-year-old former student opened fire. Officials say they are treating the case as both a hate crime and domestic terrorism. Vigils are being held across the city as the community mourns and survivors begin the long road to recovery. Meanwhile, attention is turning to the tropics. A new disturbance in the eastern Atlantic has a 70% chance of strengthening into Tropical Storm Gabrielle by the end of this week. Current models suggest the system may stay out to sea, but the exact path remains uncertain. At the same time, in the eastern Pacific, Tropical Storm Lorena has formed off the coast of southwest Mexico. Heavy rains are expected across Baja California later this week, and moisture could surge north into the U.S. southwest, possibly boosting the late season monsoon. And on Capitol Hill, the Jeffrey Epstein case is back in the spotlight as Congress returns from recess. Bipartisan lawmakers, including Representatives Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie, are pushing the Epstein Files Transparency Act. The measure could bypass House leadership and force a vote to release unredacted federal files. Survivors of Epstein's abuse are also gathering at the Capitol today, holding a press conference to demand full disclosure and justice, pressing both the Justice Department and former President Trump to release all related documents. That's your national news updates. Now back to Zach and Eli.
It's time for our final break of the night, but make sure to stay with us because when we return, Andrew Reynolds joins us in studio to recap the week in Quinnipiac athletics.
And Bobcat Babble is back this year. We're getting ready to crock and roll as the Q30 Newscast will be right back. Do you enjoy debating Quinnipiac sports?
That's all flash, no cash. She didn't net it in the back of the net. That's not even a goal.
What are you doing pulling out rhymes?
Pretty, that's like a crossover with a missed layup. All right.
Bobcat Breakdown is the place for you with debate, analysis, and so much more.
Mate Marinov. He is good
but oh man, is he bad. And let's
That team is amazing. How do you not put Fairfield women's volleyball?
Tune in to Bobcat Breakdown every Tuesday night at 9:30 p.m. on Q30TV.com/watch.
No, I'm not gambling. Live from the piazza, it's Quinnipiac tonight!
Thanks for sticking with us. Now, Zach, it's my favorite time of the year. Sports are finally back on campus.
Yeah, Eli, field hockey is off to a hot start, as well as some other sports, and Andrew Reynolds is here to break it all down.
Yeah, Eli and Zach, fall sports are officially underway, and like you said, field hockey is off to a hot start as they've begun the season 2-0 for the first time since 2012. The Bobcats picked up 2 wins this weekend with a 2-1 victory on the road at Holy Cross and another 2-0 W at home on Sunday against Francisca Escoyes and Cristina Torres received Big East Honor Roll honors. Escoyes scored twice on Friday and on Sunday. Torres made 9 saves and earned her first shutout of the season. The team aims to continue to start up north in Orono, Maine for matches against Maine and Stonehill played at the University of Maine. Moving on to the pitch, the men's and women's soccer teams have had cold starts, both winless 2 weeks into their seasons. On the men's side, they have dropped all of their contests, most recently a 3-0 loss last night at Stony Brook. Switching to the women's side, they have also struggled starting the season with an 0-3-1 record, most recently losing to Long Island Monday 2-0. Both teams are looking to get in the win column on Saturday as the men head down south to New Haven to face crosstown rival Yale, and the women open conference play here in Hamden against Ryder at noon. Now wrapping up on the hardwood, the women's volleyball team has announced Elena Giacomini as the MAC preseason player of the year. Giacomini, who was the MAC player of the year in 2024, finished second in MAC kills last season and scored over 500 points. Giacomini and the Bobcats started their season this weekend at the Bradley Invitational in Illinois. In 3 matches, they went 1-2, securing a win against Western Illinois, but falling to UT Arlington and Bradley. Up next on the schedule for the Bobcats as they head down south to Maryland for the Towson Morgan State Invitational. Now, if you're a Bobcat fan, despite early struggles for some of the teams, there's no need to hit the panic button yet. It's still very early in the season and a lot of games to be played. So be sure to stay tuned throughout the school year on Q30 social media accounts to stay up to date with your favorite teams. For Sports This Week, I'm Andrew Reynolds.
I know Andrew mentioned about Elena Giacomini, and you know I'm a big volleyball guy here at Quinnipiac, so I just want to add on here a little bit to that. I know we've talked about it a lot for Bobcat Breakdown, your show you executive produce, how it's going to be great to have Elena Giacomini, but it's also going to be great to have Ginevra Giovaglione coming back from her injury. Last year, she only played, I believe it was 5 games before she went out with an injury and didn't play the rest of the year.
She was the preseason player of the year last year.
Preseason player of the year last year. So having those 2 on the outside, it's going to be really big for Quinnipiac.
Yeah, the 2 of them with the Gunesh twins. It's really like this last year for that core from the 2022 MAC championship squad. It's going to be interesting to see how they stack up against the Fairfield Stags, a team that has been dynastic in the last few years in the conference. So I'm really excited for the volleyball team as well as a few others. Soccer's got my personal favorite, but you already knew that one too.
Yeah, absolutely. And congratulations to Damla Ganesh, 3,000 assists, and big record for her. But we're going to take a look at a record here for Bobcat Babel. When you think of the Guinness World Records, you might think of the oldest person, physical challenges, or maybe the most Big Mac eaten. But today we're taking a look at the Croc King. Doogie Sandtiger owns over 3,800 pairs of Crocs.
Growing up in the Connecticut foster care system, Sandtiger didn't learn how to tie his shoes as a kid, and as a teen, he kept a journal with a list of goals, one of which was to collect 366 pairs of Crocs. After surpassing that milestone, he created loftier goals of setting the Guinness World Record and appearing in the Guinness World Record book, which he achieved in November of 2024 with 3,569 pairs of Crocs. Sand Tiger hopes to one day open a museum with all of his Crocs, appropriately called a Crocsium. And Eli, I don't know about you, but I personally don't own any Crocs, but right now I'm feeling pretty inspired to go find a pair for myself.
Yeah, absolutely, Zach. I mean, I have a couple pairs, but I might need to start adding to my collection. But the question I have for you, if you get a pair of Crocs, what gibbets are you adding to your Crocs?
Oh boy, I don't know. I'd probably have to go with like a baseball pin. Baseball's my favorite. I know they make some Crocs themselves that are themed.
Yeah,
they
yeah.
have Pixar ones, some Star Wars, which is probably my personal favorite. But just the design of Crocs having evolved from when I was a kid. I had a pair when I was a kid. I had a blue pair. But I haven't had one in probably over 10 years. It's just incredible the different designs they come up with. We could rock a combo pair.
Hey, maybe we got it. What are we thinking?
I'm thinking Lightning McQueen and Toe Mater.
Oh,
I think it'd be perfect.
Which ones are you wearing?
I want Lightning McQueen.
All right, that's fine. I'll give it to you. But unfortunately, that is all the time Zach and I have for you guys tonight. But the Q30 Newscast is just getting started this year. Thank you to all the producers and everyone working so diligently behind the scenes.
Make sure to follow us on X at Q30 News for updates and check out Q30TV.com for all the latest news. For Eli Ehlers, I'm Zach Naffa. Have a wonderful night, Bobcats.